Who is Todd Palin? What is his influence? What is his tie to AIP, the Alaska Independence Party? We've been asking questions. We've invited a guest to explain this to us, and it is coming up right after the break. Welcome back to the world headquarters of CNN. I'm Rick Sanchez. Getting into this topic now, one we've been in contact with the McCain camp about, and they have been trying to see if they can perhaps come onto this newscast to respond. We'll continue trying. As of when we last checked, they weren't going to be coming on and talking to us. It's the subject of AIP, the Alaska Independence Party, and whatever association or link there may be between Governor Sarah Palin and her husband Todd Palin and the Alaska Independence Party. Why is the Alaska Independence Party important? It's a party that wants to separate from the United States of America. They are a separatist movement within the party. I want to read you now some comments from the founder of the Alaska Independent Party. His name is Joe Vogler. These are the quotes from him. I will read them to you. I think we can put them up on the screen as I read them to you as well. He says, "The fires of hell are frozen glaciers compared to my hatred for the American government, and I won't be buried under their damn flag," referring to the United States government. I think we have another one here. Let's go to the second one, Dan, if you got that one. He goes on to say, "My government is my worst enemy. I'm going to fight them with any means at hand." Number three, let's put Mr. Volger's third comment up. He says, "I hope we don't have to take human life, but if they go on trampling our property rights, look out. We are ready to die." Joining us now is an investigative journalist who has worked on this story, investigated the AIP and Sarah and Todd Palin's relationship to them. He is David Newart. He is with Salon Magazine. And just to be fair, as we always do when we talk to people from different periodicals, he happens to work for a periodical that leans to the left. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. I guess we should start with what is the AIP? What did you find out about them?
Well, what we've known about the AIP for some time is that they were basically the Alaska contingent of the Patriot movement, which in the lower 48 states manifested itself as people who formed militias, tax protesters, constitutionalists, and that sort of thing.
Not comparing them to actions, but comparing them in terms of ideology. Not actions, remember, but ideology. Are they similar to the group that blew up the Murrah building?
Well, that was, of course, that was an individual lone wolf who was associated with the Patriots, but yes, they basically come from the same sort of ideological background. That's correct.
Are they dangerous?
Potentially, mostly when they feel that they're being threatened. But for the most part, they're a pretty benign organization as far as that goes. But
they believe in not being a part of the United States. They want to separate from the United States. And from reading Mr. Volger's comments and others, they, fair to say, despise the United States government?
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair to say. Even today, that's pretty much a standard feeling in the AIP.
Todd Palin was a member of this organization. Is that correct?
That's correct, although when we talked to Mark Creisen, who was the AIP's chairman between 1997 and 2002, and who was a pretty good friend of Sarah Palin's, he described Todd Palin's activities in the AIP as being pretty low level. Basically, he signed up, joined the party, and then wasn't active at all.
Sarah Palin was not a member of this organization, at least not in terms of anything we've seen or anything that you've written about. However, she does have some ties to either members or its causes. Is that correct?
That's correct. When she was both a city councilman in Wasilla as well as the mayor of Wasilla, she was pretty closely associated with this faction. The AIP faction in Wasilla. Mark Creisen, the AIP chairman, lived in Wasilla, and there were some other people involved in city politics at this time as well, including a John Birch Society activist named Stephen Stoll. And Stoll and Creisen tended to work in concert in promoting sort of far-right agenda items before the city council, including they took down a local gun control ordinance that Palin was actually involved in coordinating their appearance before the city council in order to kill it.
So when she was mayor of Wasilla, did she actually help somebody become part of her city council based on their affiliation or the fact that they were a member of the party?
Not so much that it was Stephen Stoll that she attempted to appoint to the city council. Actually, as one of her very first acts as mayor, the very first city council meeting she held as mayor, she tried to put Stephen Stoll in one of the 2 seats that was vacated by her election and another city councilman's.
And he was an AIP member.
As far as I know, we're not sure if Stoll was an AIP member. He may well have been, but he was very closely involved with Mark Creisen. The 2 of them worked together. And what we do know about Stoll was that he was involved in promoting John Birch Society activity in the area.
And John Birch Society you would characterize as how, for members of our audience that don't know who they are?
Well, John Birch Society is basically a far-right leaning organization that has believed in conspiracy theories involving first the supposed communist conspiracy to overthrow the government, and then in the 1990s promoting the notion of a New World Order conspiracy to destroy the United States government. And in that respect, they were very closely affiliated with patriot groups like the AIP and the militia of Montana and outfits like that.
Got it. We're going to do this now. We're going to continue this interview because there's certainly a lot of stuff to get to, certainly involving someone who now could be the next vice president of the United States. And there's some video I want to share now with our audience. We're going to look at it as you and I are off the screen, and there she is. This is a personal message from Sarah Palin as governor of the state of Alaska to the AIP. When we come back, we're going to have Mr. Newart's comments on it, and we'll let you listen to it as you watch it in full. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We have just received some comments within the last hour from the McCain camp. And to be fair, I want to make sure I read it to you in full. Here it is. Let's go over my shoulder, Robert. I put it up here so you can see it on this board. Can you see it right there? CNN is furthering a smear with this report. No different than if your network ran a piece. Let me get that out of the way there. That blinking's making me crazy. I'll start over. CNN is furthering a smear with this report. No different than if your network ran a piece questioning Senator Obama's religion. No serious news organization has tried to make this connection, and it is unfortunate that CNN would be the first. This is from Michael Goldfarb. He's a McCain-Palin spokesperson who we have been in contact with. He goes on to say, we're trying to arrange to have one of the governor's people come on the air and respond in the event you do run this piece. Well, obviously, we are doing this report, and we would welcome anyone from the governor's office if they want to come forward and give us their side of the story. And if there's any other statement that you would like us to read, we will be happy to read it on the air. We should note, by the way, that we have been in contact with the McCain people on this story since 9:30 this morning when we first started going through some of this information. All right, let us continue now our interview with David Newart. And as we continue the interview, there's another piece of video I would like for you to see. This is the video of Sarah Palin in 2008 sending a personal message from the governor's office to the Alaska Independent Party. Here it is.
I'm Governor Sarah Palin, and I am delighted to welcome you to the 2008 Alaskan Independence Party Convention in the Golden Heart City, Fairbanks. Your party plays an important role in our state's politics. I've always said that competition is so good, and that applies to political parties as well. I share your party's vision of upholding the Constitution of our great state. My administration remains focused on reining in government growth so individual liberty and opportunity can expand. I know you agree with that. We have a great promise to be a self-sufficient state made up of the hardest working, most grateful Americans in our nation. So as your convention gets underway, I hope that you all are inspired by remembering that all those years ago, it was in this same city that Alaska's Constitution was born. And it was founded on hope and trust and liberty and opportunity. I carry that message of opportunity forward in my administration as we continue to move our state ahead and create positive change. So I say good luck on a successful and inspiring convention. Keep up the good work, and God bless you.
All right, as we understand it, that was 2008. Let's bring Mr. David Newart back in with Salon.com. Mr. Newart, we understand that she also actually attended in person the convention in 2006 and 2000, right?
I'm not so sure about 2000. We haven't confirmed that, but certainly we know she was at the 2006 convention because she was campaigning there for governor. And the AIP did not have a gubernatorial candidate that year, and its members essentially endorsed Sarah as their party's standard bearer.
You heard moments ago when I read to our viewers this comment that came to us from the McCain camp. They were watching this conversation that you and I were having, and they say this would be no different, quote, than if your network ran a piece questioning Senator Obama's religion. Is this in any way a religious organization, the AIP?
Not at all. It's purely political.